Hello folks, welcome to Komrade Reviews. So, I'm Caleb, this is Ebenezer, and this is Timothy. Or Timothy lah, we call him Timothy, proper. Alright, so, why?
Why gonna make it so awkward?
This week we've got our hands on the T1500 from Winspace. We've been riding it around Singapore for the past 2 weeks, and we're going to tell you how we feel about it. So, a little background. Winspace is a China-based company that produces carbon bikes. Their factory is in Xiamen. So far, they have released the SLC, which is the lightweight climber, and the T1500, the ones we have tested, is the aero bike frame. According to its website, the development team behind the T1500 has many experiences, especially within Formula One racing.
Right, so if you're based in Singapore, because we are based in Singapore now, I think it's better to go for the Singapore distributor, as when you have any problems with say the wheels or say the frame and anything like that, you can there's warranty and stuff, and you can go directly to them instead of sending it back to the main factory. Yeah. So right off the bat, because we actually did a cycle portion of it, then we're just gonna ask Timothy about how he's feeling about when he was riding and stuff like that. So Timothy, can you just tell us a little bit more about the frame of the bike? Because you have been riding for some time, and maybe you can talk about how it feels and what's the difference between this and what we have ridden.
Okay, disclaimer, I am not some pro peloton Peter Sagan kind of rider, okay? I'm just a normal day-to-day guy who likes to ride bikes, and this is just my honest opinions. So, how the frame feels, honestly, I mean, most carbon frames are actually quite stiff, and Winspace has been around for quite some time already. So, in terms of the design, the carbon layout, I felt that it was quite stiff. I actually rode for both for the flat section as well as also for some climbs. It has no qualms, no problem. It's actually relatively lightweight. And gotta admit, I mean, I'm the kind of guy who likes aesthetics, and it kind of looks good.
So, we rode it together with the Hyper wheels as well, which is quite famous nowadays for being a cheap and lightweight carbon alternative. So maybe Timothy can let us know, because you're riding MVs yourself, maybe you want to let us know a little bit of how does the Winspace feels, as in the Hyper wheels. Yeah.
So I actually I've ridden quite a few wheels. I mean, I own a pair of Rupels. I'm currently riding on NTs, and then so some LX rims, TT Swiss as well. So in terms of the actual wheel,
It's over there.
give me a moment.
Give me both lah, take both lah.
Do you have any tech specs for? Okay, so these are actually the Lund, right?
The Lund?
Yeah.
Oh, then you want you take the non-Lund.
So what we have here are a pair of Hyper wheels. They are 50 mm deep, and they have their own internal hubs. How I actually felt with them, I mean, they have carbon spokes, and this is the rim brake version. So I rode the rim brake version of the bike. Honestly speaking, it's actually quite stiff. There is still a little bit flex. There is some issues with maintaining speeds that's above 35-40 kilometers per hour. During the flat section, it was very fast to accelerate. But the problem was, when you're trying to go further and faster, it didn't really sustain that well. That could possibly be down to having different hubs, or maybe even the deeper section wheels. So honestly, speaking for what, $1,000-ish?
About 1,400 Sing dollars.
Yeah, for 1,400 Sing dollars, you're actually getting quite good value. And I understand that these are actually tubeless ready rims as well.
Yes.
So if you're intending to go tubeless, which I am also on, I think it's fine. It's really good. And the thing is that, if anytime you have a crash or any issues with the wheels, they have a local distributor that you can actually go and you can go and sort your issues out.
Yeah. So the last part of it, maybe you want to talk us through the whole ride experience. Maybe like when you ride it, what does maybe like the bike that resembles it the most, for the matter?
So I've ridden quite a few bikes. Actually, most of them are on test bikes. I'm currently riding on my Venge 2018. So the thing is that I'm using it as a base, as a guideline on how this bike performs. In terms of the weight, of course, naturally rim brake bikes are always going to be lighter. I will not go into whole discussion about rim brake versus disc brake, but on initial impressions, we rode on dry conditions. It was actually quite easy to accelerate. It's very fast, it's very responsive. Unfortunately, for some people who didn't decide to adjust the handlebar, it was a bit saggy. So, when I was cycling, it was a little bit hard to control. But other than that, I think it was pretty fine. It was a really good bike. One thing that I have to admit though is that when you want to go in further, faster speeds at your flats, naturally Singapore we have very fast roads, right? So you want to go at 40, 45, it may struggle a little bit in terms to keep up. Probably maybe because you have stronger legs, then fine, no problem. But that was my initial impressions. Don't take my word for it. Go and speak to the our Singapore distributor or whatever distributor, to actually, if you can go and test ride a bike. These are not uncommon brand. This is not an uncommon brand. It's not a rare brand. It's actually a very established brand. So you are definitely able to get reviews out there as well to actually get a more rounded understanding of this whole bike. But this is just what we call an amateur impressions on how we feel what this bike actually is able to bring on the table.
So other than the flats, you did it on the climbs as well, right? So for the climbs, do you feel like this frame, this bike itself is going to hold up and the way you pedal and stuff like that, is it like significantly easier or? Yeah.
Well, when I'm on this bike during the climb, I had a lot of adrenaline, you know why? Because we were cycling at the Changi Hospital.
Commando.
Two guys were in the car, right, ready to leave, but I was on the bicycle. But on a serious note, while climbing, it was not really a big issue. It was fine. I did experience a bit of flex in terms of the frame. There's a little bit more than what I am used to, but ultimately you won't struggle a lot, honestly, on the frame and the wheels that they actually provide. I think they do sell it as a complete full bike, and the whole setup that I ridden on the rim brake, I had no complaints. Naturally, you are always going to be finding lighter bikes. You're naturally going to be finding more aero bikes, but my perspective during the climbs with DMM, there are hyper wheels, and on this particular frame there wasn't any issues. In fact, actually climbing was really quite a joy. But in Singapore, I think are you gonna ride in the rain? No, right? No. So honestly, I think it's fine with rim brake with these particular wheels as well.
Who do you think that this range of bikes is for?
So I've ridden the Altegra Di2 version, which retails about 5,000 Singapore
full bike, with
dollars.
The wheels and the frame.
Everything. Honestly speaking, you are going to be competing around $5,000. You'll be competing for electronic group set. I think one brand really comes to mind, which is actually Canyon. One thing you're gonna get, I think, from here is that you are actually getting a local distributor. Canyon is, of course, a direct-to-consumer sales model, which obviously has some issues with the quality. I think recently, with a spike in demand and a lot of because of the whole cycling boom, right? Naturally, there were a lot of quality issues with the Canyon. Not to say that they are bad, it's a natural thing. You can check on the forums, you can check on the websites. So what you're going to get for $5,000 in Singapore, or if you have a local distributor, I think you're getting a relatively good carbon frame with an electronic group set of good value with 50mm carbon wheel set, as well as local distributor. So if you have any issues, you have any problems, you can just hit Marco up, right? For any issues. Or actually, I'm just gonna plug Komrade bikes. Imaginary Komrade bikes. Yeah. So So you can just drop by, and if any issues, we are actually able to solve. Because I believe Winspace do not have too many of proprietary parts which we are able to source them actually very much easily. So bottom line is, if you haven't listened to the past 20 or how long whatever this video is, right? If you're looking for a mid-range bike with electronic group set, and you don't want to splash that 10k, 15k on the latest SL7s or your Pinarellos, right? So I think this is perfectly fine. I mean, honestly speaking, I'm an amateur rider. You're probably gonna lose to that guy. It's like 1 second, 2 seconds. It's not a lot lah. But honestly speaking, if you are brand conscious, then of course go and pick your S-Works or your Pinarellos. But if you are looking for good quality, if you're looking for value for money, you can consider Winspace.
Yeah, so this is not a sponsored post or Winspace just send us their bikes then to do a review. So we are not plugged or anything. We're just speaking from our own testing and experiment of the bikes lah. So what we have done is actually did a Top Gear version of a road test, a bicycle test. So what we did was actually on a flat road and on a climb and a constant power output. So Timothy was our stick for the day. Stick. Whereas me and Caleb we were monitoring from and shooting from
safely in the car.
Yeah, safely in the car, and So Timo actually our stretch is actually from one traffic light of the one traffic light of Tanah Coastal Road to the other traffic light of Tanah Coastal Road, the curve and the whole entire strip up to where the dorms are and stuff like that.
The famous stretch that you all would know, right?
Yeah. So of course we'll take into consideration of the headwind, the tailwind, and the road condition and stuff like that, and we will stack up. We'll do a board. Then we'll show you how fast this bike stacks up to other bikes that we have tested out in the later videos where we review other bikes. Yeah.
So what we had to do as a baseline is that because it could be windy, it could be rainy and whatnot. So we had very good weather that night. I think it was quite dry. Had a power meter. Then during the flat stretch, I ensured that I was the one riding. I ensured that we maintained about 200 watts consistently throughout the whole of that particular stretch. And the next control was that I was on the drops all the way. I didn't take up any special aero position, or neither did I ride it on the boots. So it was on the drops, and it was consistent 200 watt power. And there was nobody pulling me, even though there was a jeep that was in front of me lah.
Safety car.
Yeah, safety car.
Not enough to change any wind condition or anything like that. Yeah.
So the other test, before we go to the other test, in case you really want to know the whole Strava or whatever test I did,
your own Strava now.
You can look at my Strava account. Just take a look, give a follow, and you can give a kudos. Right? Then here's my Instagram. Okay, here's
mine.
If you happen to be working in aerospace, that was the control measure that we did. It was night time, so you won't have any heat or that kind of whatnot lah. So it was relatively controlled to our best of our abilities. So this is not hard scientific truth, right? Okay, this is just a test, something that we can use as a baseline. Just 3 guys just having fun. Okay, 2 guys in the jeep having fun. I'm the one cycling. So the other test, however, we did a climb at Commando Hill. It's a hill in Singapore that is very, very near the infamous Changi Hospital that is now defunct and abandoned, but nobody has done anything about it. So I decided to go and cycle it up the hill. What the baseline is, just max effort. what I did is so like zone 6 kind of thing, all the way up. We just use it as a baseline. So basically, Commando Hill is about a 200 to 400 meter climb. I think average gradient was like an 8%. Nothing too fancy because Singapore doesn't have very big, huge mountains, but to us, that's cannot, man. Yeah, so
we're not climbers.
Yeah, we're not climbers. So, we're just 3 guys.
Right. So conclusion time. What's your rating on the bike over 10?
So if 10 is give me a baseline veg.
Okay, let's go for
SL7. I mean, because
it's the latest bike out there now.
Yeah. Okay, 10 as in is an absolute dream bike and it's fantastic.
How about value, in terms of value?
Okay, we go to value first.
Okay.
I think value you can give it a 7 upon 10. Yeah, you can say that for 5k I can do this and do that. Honestly, for the group set, it's going to really set you down for about 2.5k. So you're getting wheels, tires, you're getting your handlebars,
Winspace handlebars,
everything.
Handlebars.
Yeah, so for another 2,500. Yeah, so I think that's and the frame as well. Everything's on carbon, so I think that's really very good value. So you can't beat that. It's very difficult, especially for a full bike. So I'm just gonna give it a rating of 8 upon 10. I know I said 7, but I think
now one more, 8. Next up is the performance rating. So what do you go for the performance rating?
I think performance-wise, if you want to compare with your current aeros, you want to compare with your
SL7,
bench dogmas. I think it's still there is still some way to go. Not to discredit Winspace because you are targeting it at a 5k price model, whereas your Pinarellos you're like 12, 20k. So in terms of performance wise, I'll just give it a 7 upon 10 because I mean at that price level, I think you're really getting quite a good bike.
Yeah, man.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you for checking out our channel. Our first video that we are reviewing of. It's the Winspace, and I hope you like what you see, and I hope we help you in considering what you're gonna buy for your own bike. Yeah. So remember to like, share to your friends, your cycling community,
Where's the button?
and then subscribe.
And what's that? Leave the notif. Switch on
your bell.
notifications,
Yeah. And then we will try to come out more content. Tell us what you like as well, what you don't like, then we can focus on it more.
Follow us on Komrade
Bikes.
Komrade Bikes on Instagram.
Our own personal Instagram.
Yeah. Stephen.
Rolling.
This is how I met your one.
This is how I met your mother.
Chinese bicycle brand Xiamen, market for a very long time, producing wheels and frames for many. Well, now I know it's damn difficult. When I feel other people
Suddenly blank out.
when I feel
There's some before also okay one.
See, you want to start at 7.
I feel other people also I want to die.